Do the Philadelphia Phillies have a new closer? And our resident closer, Ricky Bo's in the house today. What's going on, Ricky?
How you doing, pal?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I'm doing pretty well. But I looked at that game last night. Now, this is coming on the heels of something we talked about yesterday. Saturday night, it was a 3-2 game, top of the ninth, 3 righties coming up for the opponent. And what did Rob Thomson do? Doesn't go to Jordan Romano. He went to Matt Strahm. And now last night, in a close game when it was 3-2, he pulls out Romano in the 7th, then goes Strahm in the 8th, and then he calls on Orion Kerkering in the 9th to shut things down, and Orion Kerkering gets his first save of his career. This is what it sounded like last night on NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Kerkering ready, the pitch, swinging a ground ball to third. This should do it. Bohm's got it, sets himself and throws in time, and Orion Kerkering seals the deal here in the 9th inning. His first big league save as the Phillies win it 5-2.
So my question for you, Ricky Bo,
Yep.
is this saying more about Orion Kerkering that they want to try him as their closer, or is it saying more about the lack of trust that they have in Jordan Romano?
Pretty good mix of both, if you ask me. I look at it this way. The other day, I was actually at the game on Saturday, and I'm watching Strahm pitch, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I thought it was the 9th inning. I couldn't see the scoreboard. I look up, it is the 9th inning. I'm like, what is going on here? What's your first instinct in that situation? Is that somebody might be injured? Yeah, that wasn't the case. The case is, you know what? You get a little tired of certain situations, and when Romano goes out there, nothing's ever clean. Nothing has been clean this year. I know he's been dominant at times when he was with the Blue Jays, but that's just not happening right now. So what do? You look for somebody that wants to take over. Now, what Rob has done, he obviously brought in Strahm on Saturday, and now he brings Kerkering in. I think that was let's get your feet wet, Orion, and see if you have the stuff to go in there and close out a game. But I will say this much. He did it nicely. I mean, you're talking about 12 pitches. He threw 12 pitches, 9 strikes. That's what you want from a closer, a guy who's going to attack hitters. The other thing I think that kind of stood out to me is that he was using his fastball a lot in that inning last night. So when you look at this whole situation, I got to believe after seeing what Kerkering did last night and seeing his demeanor out on the mound in that type of situation, I'm thinking that Kerkering is now the closer. And I know certain people will say, but that was his first time doing it. Yeah. Well, you know what? You got to start somewhere. And I got to believe that what Rob Thomson saw last night, he was pretty satisfied because it looked as though Romano in the 7th looked comfortable, unlike his 9th innings. Strahm is Strahm, and he could pitch pretty much wherever. But Kerkering looked dominant in his inning, and that's what you want from your closer. I understand it was the Marlins. I know they don't have a great hitting ball club, but the first thing that sticks out to me was his demeanor on the mound.
Yeah, you said he looked dominant. Really, Orion Kerkering has been pretty dominant over the last 2 months. I was looking at his numbers. So in the month of June so far, he's got a 0 ERA.
Yeah.
Since May 1st, his ERA is a .58. That's pretty damn good, man. Now, you go back to April, he had a 6.52 ERA. He struggled to start the season. He blew his only save opportunity against the Washington Nationals in April. But the last month and a half, he's looked really good. He's only 24 years old. We keep saying this team needs bullpen arms. This team needs bullpen arms. And I'm not ready to say that they don't. But could Kerkering be the answer there? Like you talked about the fastball last night. We know he likes to throw the sweeper. That's been effective. If Kerkering can grow into that closer role, you got to feel a little bit better about this bullpen, don't you?
Yeah, I think you do, because it takes pressure off of Romano, and he hasn't thrown the ball well. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's in the high 6s for an ERA. That's not exactly really good. I mean, I know you have your ups and downs in as being a reliever, but what you have to do is actually look at a reliever in a 10 opportunities. That's the way I look at it. If he's good in 7 or 8 out of those, and regardless of what happens in the other 2, I think that's a good reliever. So, I mean, an 75 to 80 percentile range, I think, is good for relievers. And anytime they're that good, I think they can be in the back end of the bullpen. I look at the way Kerkering took the ball last night. I look at the way he attacked hitters last night. And there wasn't really even a thought that, oh, this is the ninth inning, I should be scared. It was more or less the one thing that I loved. Here's how I have to preface this. When he first came up, all we saw was slider, and it got old. And to be honest with you, there is an opportunity when you're throwing that many sliders that you're going to hang a couple. And sooner or later, teams are going to just sit slider. And when you misthrow one or don't get on top of one, what's going to happen? It's going to get hit around the ballpark. If you're good with your fastball and you throw as hard as he does, the location of the fastball is more important than any other pitch that you have in your bag. And that's what I saw last night was that, you know what, I got a fastball that you better be aware of, but then I got a sweeper that can put you away. And that's knowing what you have in your repertoire. That's knowing how to use it. And I thought last night the first thing that stood out to me was, wow, he's attacking with that fastball, and he's still got that sweeper in his bag, and he threw it, and he threw it when he needed to instead of just throwing it all the time. That, to me, is a balance. He found a balance of what to do in a clean inning.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this as this is Rob Thomson giving him an audition to be the everyday closer, but
that's his first audition. You're right.
It is, but post-game, when he did the interview with Tom McCarthy and John Kruk asked him about, hey, hopefully this is going to be your opportunity as a closer. I didn't love the answer. Listen to this interview between Kruk and Orion Kerkering.
You have a couple veteran guys down there in the bullpen. You know, Matt Strom has closed some games. Jordan Romano's been a closer when he was with Toronto. How have they helped you down there get ready, prepare you for what's hopefully going to be a closer role for you here soon?
Yeah, hopefully so. But, I mean, as we just always said, it's closer by committee. So I'm always blessed to be able to get out there and Topper and the coaching staff just be able to trust me and all the guys out there. I think that's what's most important. And just be able to talk to him, like you said, and just how much experience Jordan's had through all the years of Toronto and Strom here and there through the years and even this year. So I think just trying to keep the same composure with it.
All right, Ricky. So John Kruk asked him, hopefully this is going to be a closer role for you real soon. And he says, yeah, hopefully, and then he catches himself and, oh, well, we always say we're a closer by committee. I don't know what your opinion is on this, but I'm not a fan of the closer by committee. I want a guy who fills that role that come the ninth inning, the whole team knows, all right, this is Orion's job. He's going to come in and he's going to shut things down. What are your thoughts about a closer by committee?
I think closer by committee, I think you gather confusion out in the bullpen. And guys don't know exactly when they're going into games. I don't know if they're told nowadays, like earlier in the game, hey, be ready for the 7th, 8th, or 9th, or, you know, you're just a short guy or you're the long guy. I don't know how exactly they kind of preface this to the players. But in my eyes, when you look at a situation, when I was closing, I knew my role. Although back then it was 8th and 9th innings. It wasn't just, you know, you're going in for a 1-inning save. Sometimes it was an inning and 2/3. Sometimes it was more. So my preparation started around the 6th inning. As a setup guy, obviously your preparation and mental preparation has to start a little bit earlier. I like knowing what I'm doing. I think, you know, as a player who's in the starting lineup, don't you want to know where you're hitting? You know, when you get to the ballpark, doesn't that help you mentally prepare for the game? I think it's all about mental preparation, and it seemed to me like he knew he was closing out that game last night. I don't think there was any doubt in his mind. And I think it's also protecting the other players in your bullpen and not basically initiating that I'm the closer and you guys aren't type situation. I think you want to keep everybody happy along with yourself out in the bullpen because it's always a close-knit group out there, and you never want to undermine anybody that you're actually working with out there.
I want to continue this conversation coming up, and I want to hear from you as we're looking at this bullpen. Who do you trust the most? And I get it, we're still hoping maybe Dombrowski makes some moves at the deadline. But who do you trust the most to be the closer in this pen?
What's up, everybody? It's Bill Colarulo from Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we post a ton of content. It's not just what you hear on air. We're posting content all day long. We do some things before the show, after the show, even stuff during the show. So subscribe, like, do whatever you got to do. We got all this content coming to you every single day.